Breakfast on BBC Radio Shropshire, 8 minutes past 7. Telford and Wrekin Council is defending the expense of challenging various plans for supermarkets and other developments in Newport. Yesterday on this programme, we revealed that legal and planning fees could cost the council £1.5 million after documents highlighting the risk were leaked to BBC Radio Shropshire. Well, the council's cabinet discussed the figures behind closed doors in a meeting last night. Joining me on the breakfast show this morning, Bill McClements, the Labour councillor in charge of finance. Bill, good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
Why behind closed doors? This is public money.
Well, that's the procedure because there was legal advice involved in it. But clearly it's not behind closed doors now. I mean, the figure...
Well, it's not because we brought it out into the open,
people did. And, well, you know, somebody who has got a responsibility to keep some things confidential must have leaked the information, but that's another argument.
But as I say, it's public money. How can you justify risking £1.5 million here? You're gambling with taxpayers' money to try to get your own way.
Well, that's not true. I mean, the planning application for Station Road was initiated by the private sector, not by the council, and all planning applications in Newport were initiated by the private sector. That's the first thing I've got to say. And the 1972 Local Government Act, puts a responsibility on the council, on councillors, to maximise the assets of the council for all the people of the borough, not for individual groups. So, you know, that's the reality. And yes, it is a significant amount of money. It's about between 6 and 7% of the asset value. And when I worked in the private sector, if you start off doing a big new project and you said the upfront costs were 6 or 7%, they would think that was actually good. It's too much. I would wish it was less. But 70% of the cost is actually defending challenges against our decision-making process.
But there are 2 planning applications which have already been through the planning inspectorate system, and they've gone through.
That's not true, you see. People always say things. Mere Green, there is no permission for supermarket in Mere Green. That is not true. As I understand it, it's an issue about allowing that Mere Green to sell convenience goods from the existing building. So it's not a supermarket.
What about Audley Avenue?
Audley Avenue, well, we're challenging that because, I mean, we have legal advisors and you know, external to the council, and they're advising us the planning inspector made errors in applying the law. And that's about sequential tests. And I'm not an expert in planning, but sequential tests. It means that they should have said the Station Road is a preferred site first and decided on that first before. But also, they applied the 106 monies incorrectly. If we didn't challenge it, it would cost the council over £2 million doing roads works attached to that application that we would have to fund and we shouldn't fund. And for 2 reasons, it's £2 million, but also, if they allowed that to happen, every other developer said, well, you allowed it there, why aren't you allowing it here? And the consequence of Telford and Wrekin and other councils will be serious.
But the Station Road site is a greenfield site.
Well, yes, but
should you be wanting to build a sizable supermarket on a greenfield site?
Well, I'm not an expert on sort of if you like planning law,
but you ought to be looking at brownfield sites first.
Well. The private sector came to Telford and Wrekin, and that's where they wanted to build. And there is no legal reason why we cannot build there because of the infrastructure and the road systems are very good.
And the council owns the land.
We own part of the land.
So the council is set to make a lot of money.
I mean, when I said to you,
a lot of money.
Well,
21 million.
Yeah, that's net as well.
That's a lot of money.
There's a lot of money, but that's for the people of Telford and Wrekin. It isn't for the council.
So let's chuck up a supermarket on a greenfield site because it's going to bring 20 million to help you out with your financial problems in the council.
It would help us. You know, the consequence of it not happening is that Telford and Wrekin would lose 1.6 million per year for 40 years because that money would be used to pay down the high capital debt, which we've argued about before. It's a problem at Telford and Wrekin. By doing that would save us about 1.56 million per year for the 40 years of that capital debt. It's a lot of money.
What about the people who are objecting to this? And there are a number of them. And you continually say, Bill, that you are a cooperative council,
yes,
but you don't appear to be listening to them.
Yeah,
they don't want it.
We have to cooperate with 170,000, not just that group of people.
But you're going to tear trade out of Newport Town Centre.
Well, I mean, again, we have taken proper professional advice on them. The advice is that is not true. In fact, it will create other jobs. That is the view. And we use experts that are used by government and by other councils. We just don't use anybody. If somebody has got expertise in retail, which I don't have, But, that's the advice.
Let's listen to Andrew Eade, leader of the opposition. You know him well, on Telford and Wrekin Council. He thinks you should be listening to local people in Newport.
Well, I think it's very worrying. It is a crazy situation, really, isn't it? And I have to reiterate, in Newport, nobody's against development. We have 2 sites there, brownfield sites, and enjoy planning permission at the moment. And I've no doubt the local community, people in the high street, would like to see one of those sites go ahead. The one we're talking about, which is partially or fully owned by the council, is going to make quite a lot of money out of this, is a hypermarket. It's something quite different, and that will suck the very life out of Newport High Street itself. We've seen it happen in many other towns up and down the country. You only have to go to Market Drayton to see those effects. I've been there, I've seen that, and I want to do everything I can to prevent that happening here in Telford and Wrekin in Newport. It will be an absolute disaster.
Should you not have a proper consultation?
Well, can I just come in first? Because Andrew has made a statement there which is not true, you see. The application of Station Road is smaller than the Asda at Donington, which is only 3.5 miles down the road, and smaller than the Tesco and the retail park outside Wellington. So it's not this massive thing that's going to engulf Newport.
It's a big supermarket.
It's a big one, but it's not something massively new.
You can't minimise its size because it's not as big as somewhere else.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if you listen to what Andrew's saying, you'd almost think this is the first of the massive big one. It's not. It's in keeping.
But you're going to suck the life out of Newport. What kind of impact is that supermarket going to have on the small stores?
We have to follow the planning laws of the country. And that's what we're doing. I mean, people make comments about it. If we don't follow the law properly, we can be taken to court.
Why not have a proper consultation on this?
Well, people are consulting. People can put their opinions, but it's about. It's an asset of 170,000, and for as my portfolio is obviously the budget and making best use of assets, and that's what I will do, because if I didn't do that, I could actually be taken to task for wasting.
So you're pushing ahead with the challenges on the other 2 sites in favour of the Station Road site, which, let's make sure we know what's going on here, is set to benefit the council by £21 million.
The people of Telford and Wrekin, 170,000 people, that is equivalent to 185 care package for the elderly for 40 years.
So it's okay. We can just build wherever we want as long as you get the money.
There's supermarkets built all over the country. There's no reason why it won't be successful. The experts tell us it will be, and provided we follow the proper rules, it can be built there. I mean,
don't you feel that you are at odds with your local community, never mind being a cooperative council?
I cannot think of one major planning application with the people nearest actually favour it. I mean, that's the reality every time. So, I listened to Nick Bowles, who's the planning minister, talking about this on the television about 10 days ago, and he was saying the same thing, that people spend a lot of time challenging all the time, holding back the country growing, and spending a lot of money in legal. You talked about our bill. Our bill would be 70%